In this video, I'm going to give my thoughts on the topic of bipolar disorder and accountability. What's up, everybody? My name is Tyler Adolfo. I am 26 years old, and I have a diagnosis of bipolar type 1 with psychotic features. I want to first apologize. I haven't been uploading these past few weeks. I've just been a little bit deep down in the blues, in a depressive period. My depression fluctuates between moderate and severe, and I just needed to take a little bit of a mental health break from YouTube. But I am back, and this is a topic that was suggested very recently, so I'm eager to get into this and share my thoughts and then get yours as well. Specifically, what I'll be talking about is to what extent, if any at all, should bipolar people be accountable for actions taken during mania. I also want to talk a little bit about the differences between personal responsibility, culpable, and accountable. Because there's major differences between these three things, and I think it's important that we clarify those in order to get a full picture view of this situation. So should people be held accountable for actions taken during mania? Well, I think it's important to note that regardless of how we answer that question, people are held accountable for actions taken during mania. When our lives are in complete pandemonium during manic states, lots of chaos and destruction often takes place, and as a consequence of actions taken during mania, people are held to account in the sense that they can lose their jobs, they can lose their educations, they can lose friends and relationships, and all of these things are difficult. Losing your education, losing your livelihood, your work, losing friends, friendship loss, all these things are tremendously difficult to recover from. They're no easy thing. And should bipolar people be held to account? Well, my view on this is people should not be punished for things that are beyond their control. And without question, people who are in mania, people who are in psychosis, have such impaired cognitive function. They are not in control of their actions. And that's the entire reason why we actually have a legitimate legal defense in this country called not guilty by reason of insanity. And in my case, I can relate directly to loss. I lost my job. I lost my education. And I lost a whole lot of friends as a result of my bipolar manic episode. And I don't attribute blame to myself because I know that I was not in control of my actions, of my mind. I lost control of my entire mind. And losing control of your mind really opens up a Pandora's box of problems. You don't think rationally, you don't see the world and reality for what it actually is, and in that state of mind, consequences can be quick to follow. In my circumstance, I also actually got involved in a fight and was facing legal trouble as a result. I got into a fight. Thankfully, nobody was seriously hurt. But as a result of that fight, I was facing 2 felony charges. So I was held accountable in that sense. And as a result of those charges, I was expelled by my university when they found out about it. And, this happened. And I thankfully was actually found not guilty by reason of insanity because of the fact that I was suffering from a bipolar manic episode. A forensic psychologist evaluated me and concluded that the evidence corroborates this claim. And as a condition of that not guilty verdict, I had to undergo 1 year at least of treatment, which is almost concluded. But I'll be continuing treatment regardless of whether I'm required, because I see that as a personal responsibility, and that is the perfect turn into the next subject I want to discuss, and that is the differences between personal responsibility, culpable, and accountable. Now, I believe that all of us have a personal responsibility to really make do with what we got, and what that means with mental illness is managing what we have. So when people first have a manic episode, they might not be educated about their illness, they might not know about it, but I do believe that we have a personal responsibility to educate ourselves once we learn that we have the diagnosis, and to maintain positive behaviors to the greatest extent possible that reduce the possibility of us being destructive to ourselves or destructive of others, because we really owe it to ourselves. None of us deserve bad things to happen to us. It's not our fault that we have this condition. And that goes next into culpability. Are we deserving of blame? The answer is unequivocally no. We are not deserving of blame. It's not our fault, point blank. There's a very low probability of contracting this condition, and very few people can relate to how difficult it is to manage and how strenuous it can be. And we are going to be held accountable regardless of the fact that we have a serious mental illness. And so that's why I think that it's our personal responsibility to recognize that, yes, it's not our fault, but we're worth it. It's not our fault, but there's things that I can do to make positive change in my life. And this is something I struggled with a lot because, I questioned myself and said, when I was accusing members of my fraternity in college of being Nazis, I was held accountable in the sense that I lost friends. Did I deserve to lose those friends? Well, no, but I had a mental health episode. And going forward, it's now my personal responsibility to, in my view, reduce the chances of having another episode like that. And I understand that has to be within reason, because it's not completely within our control whether we have another episode. Even people on medications can have another episode. But, I view it as my personal responsibility to try to manage my depression as best as possible, to try to reduce my chances of mania. And the way for me to do that, and I know the answer is different for everyone, is to take my medications consistently and, try to get enough exercise. Is something that I recently started doing, and I've been losing weight, and I hope y'all will notice the results fairly soon, but I digress. So in this video, we discussed, should people with bipolar be held accountable? And concluded that they are held to account. And in my view, I do not think that accountability should be so severe given what happens and the fact that we're not in control. But reality is reality, and we got to make do with the world that we have. We talked about the differences between personal responsibility, culpability, and accountability. And I understand there's a little bit of controversy to this topic, so I'd like to hear from you. Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I said? Because I understand there's severe circumstances where we might have a different answer. I don't know how I would feel, for instance, if someone having a bipolar episode of mania were to seriously harm or kill a member of my family or a friend of mine. I can't speak on that because it hasn't happened to me. And I would like to believe that I could forgive that person because it wasn't their choice, it wasn't their fault, because it was the fault of the severe brain disorder, not themselves. It wasn't the real them. I would like to believe that, but I don't know if I could take a step that far. So I believe that people are already held to account severely enough. In most cases, bipolar people are not out harming people or murdering people, so that's the extreme scenario where I qualify my answer and say my feelings might be a little different. But I want to hear from you. Those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you're new. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I am back and I will be uploading, so please hit the subscribe button and like this video so more people can see it. That's it for today. Thank you all. Peace out, y'all.